I want to invite all of you on a journey with me about human potential and happiness for you and for others, as no one takes this journey alone. Please close your eyes and connect with a moment when you felt truly alive, when you felt a sense of meaning, joy, and purpose. You can open your eyes now. Let me guess, what image came to your mind? Did anyone think about lying on the couch and binge watching a series? You can raise your hands. What about endlessly scrolling through social media? Anyone? Maybe sleeping until late in the day? Nobody? So I'm going to try it again. I bet many of you connected with a moment of personal or professional fulfillment. A moment when you weren't alone and when you did something meaningful. And one thing is for sure, it wasn't when you were scrolling through social media, lying on the couch, or binge watching a series. When I think about this moment, my mind takes me back to when I was 6 years old. Everything was dark. I can hear my father gently entering the room and saying, "Chris, wake up, it's time to go." My first steps were on the cold and hard floor, but soon we would be walking on the soft and wet sand as we saw the first rays of the sun glistening on the ocean. We walked until the water meets the shore, and we waited a while, as if my father were asking the sea for permission to begin our adventure. Then we set off towards the horizon. First, I could feel the waves on my knees, then on my hips. Then I could not touch the bottom anymore. As we went through a larger wave, I could feel my father's strong hands holding mine. We swam, and then he finally said, "Look, Chris, we are way past the surfers." He was calm, confident, and brimming with pride, while I was gripped by fear, but also by a sense of excitement, power, accomplishment. I like these feelings. Have you ever felt that push and pull of both fear and excitement, hesitation and action? On that day, even without knowing it, I felt in love with high performance. My father is an Olympian. He went to 2 Olympic Games. Sport was our common language, and he has always believed in the power of sport as a stage for life. This is one of the most meaningful pictures that we have at my parents' house. It's from the Olympic Games in Tokyo in 1964. It symbolizes hard work towards something meaningful, collaboration, teamwork. And my father is right there in the first row. He's looking at the photographer as he's registering this moment for eternity. I was lucky enough to have a beautiful enemy in my life. In the year 1850, Ralph Waldo Emerson, a North American philosopher, wrote, "In a friend, I seek not a mush of concessions or trivial convenience. Instead, what I seek is a beautiful enemy, someone who challenges me and joins me in the pursuit of my truth. My beautiful enemy, he challenges me, he helped me to see my blind spots, to push me beyond my limits, and he authentically believed in my potential good to impact humanity." My father inspired me to become a pioneer in women's water polo in Brazil. At that time, when he played, water polo was only a main sport, but he never let me out of any conversation or experience. I remember going to practice with him at 5 in the morning before going to school. He would say, Chris, fala baixo. Nessa hora, só os campeões estão treinando. Chris, speak quietly. At this time, only the champions are practicing. Csikszentmihalyi, considered one of the co-founders of positive psychology and the father of the flow state, said, the best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. The best moments usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limit in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. Csikszentmihalyi describes flow as a psychological state of optimal performance, and that's the way I felt. For 13 years, I became the captain of the women's water polo team in Brazil. I played professionally in Italy. We won the first European Cup, and after my third World Championship, I was considered among the best in the world. Then I started my second career at a financial institution which lasted 23 years, where they valued my experience as a high-performance athlete. There I could apply much of what I learned from sports to the organizational environment. However, after 2 decades, my abundant river of energy, passion, and joy started to dry out. At that time, I already knew that exhaustion was a sign that something needed to be changed. But I would not accept defeat. Giving up was not part of a high-performance repertoire, and this was deeply rooted in my being. But the burnout was overpowering. Our society frequently associates long working hours and sacrifice with high performance. It's a matter of only no pain, no gain. But this is a trap in which I fell. My corporate career had come to an end. So, was Csikszentmihalyi wrong? Does high performance inevitably lead to exhaustion? I was frustrated, angry, because my whole foundation seemed to be crumbling. And it was then that I discovered the science of happiness, and I met Dr. Tobin Shahar. A new path opened up for me. While studying and researching the science of happiness, I discovered that high performance and well-being are not opposites. Rather, they create a self-reinforcing loop where high performance fuels well-being and well-being fuels high performance. And that's when I learned about an important concept that I wish I had known when I was an elite athlete and executive. It's about embracing 2 seeming paradoxes that Jim Collins and Jerry Porras highlighted in their book, Built to Last, about visionary companies. It's about the genius of the end, which challenges one of the most limiting beliefs that we have, the tyranny of the or. Think about it. We are conditioned in believing that we must be either rational or emotional, that we must be optimistic or realistic, that leadership is about authority or empathy. But what if it doesn't need to be this way? The most accomplished athletes, the best leaders, the most successful individuals, they don't make these trade-offs. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you through 3 examples that demonstrates how embracing the genius of the end can lead to a sustainable performance. My first example is about physical well-being. as mind and body are interconnected. Excellence is only achieved through hard work, persistent, consistent practice, and recovery is a non-negotiable aspect of high performance. We all need to re-energize. It may be by going out with dear friends, having a homemade meal, or being in contact with nature. The question is, what works for you? The same thing applies in sports. Who do you think will win an F1 race? The driver who is constantly speeding to keep his top position? No, it will be the one who, besides being a skilled driver, has the best pit team to support him. Because if the driver doesn't stop for maintenance, his tires may explode and he may run out of fuel and never reach the finish line. The top drivers rely on top-tier pit stop teams. And this leads me to my second example, which is about emotional well-being. High performance is about experiencing joy, celebrating achievements, moments of high satisfaction, and it's about embracing painful emotions, defeats, frustration, and sadness. The key is to observe our thoughts and physical sensations with friendly curiosity. Our emotions serve as a compass to tell where we are, and from there, we define our actions. I remember when I joined the Science of Happiness studies, I learned about the permission to be human. This was liberating. As a perfectionist, I took the no pain, no gain idea very seriously. I learned how to reframe pain as a way to achieve excellence, to master a skill. But pain is a sign that something needed to be changed. It may be time to reassess our strategy, to reroute our practices, and to identify new opportunities. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, my mentor at the Science of Happiness, wrote, "The paradox is that when we accept our feelings, when we give ourselves permission to be human and experience painful emotions, we are more likely to open up ourselves to positive emotions." And this leads me to my third example about purpose and relational well-being. By the way, it's my daughter out there, Alyssa. She's a student athlete at Stanford. So high performance depends on individual determination, grit towards something meaningful, and on a support network that authentically believes in us. Do you know what best predicts successful leadership? In the book High Impact Leaders, two prominent researchers from Gallup, Avolio and Lutyens, highlighted this information. The best leaders instill in others the positive beliefs that they are better at a performance task than they thought they were. When people believe in their potential, they start to behave, take decisions, and grow into their best selves. That's what happened in my family. From my father's belief in me to my belief in my daughter's highest potential, we created a sport dynasty. Happiness is a team sport. I shared with you 3 apparent contradictions that actually complement each other: hard work and recovery, experiencing joy and embracing pain, individual determination and a support network, and the list could go on and on. Through the Science of Happiness studies, it was my turn to challenge my father's beliefs with new perspectives, going beyond no pain, no gain. By embracing the genius of the end, we elevated the high-performance formula. Throughout my life, I've had a few extraordinary mentors that stretched me, challenged me, and authentically believed in my highest potential. Now, it's my turn to pay it forward. I strive to be a beautiful enemy to my daughters, to my coachees, and to everyone that I have the honor to impact through my work of high performance and happiness. Considering that happiness fuels high performance and high performance fuels happiness, I'll leave you with this. How can you create more of those meaningful moments that you connected with at the beginning of the presentation? And how can you become the rising tide that lifts all ships? In other words, is there someone out there, a child, a friend, a colleague, who may benefit from learning about recovery moments to fulfill their potential? Who needs your support to embrace painful moments? Who can benefit immensely by learning how much you believe in them? If so, go out there and find those people. In other words, how can you become their beautiful enemy? Thank you. Thank you.